First pick for CLG, wide open here for Broxah, for WildTurtle either.
And there's
his go-to.
It is Graves.
Yeah, most played champion by far when he was on Team Liquid. He does have a penchant for farming. It's definitely one of the ones that is still extremely good at doing that, but has a little bit of a weakness to the AP junglers as far as the lack of magic resist on his dash.
All right, well, there's Lillia. So the expected response, I guess, for Xerxe, who's played a couple games of the champ already. Kaisa also is continuing to be the AD de jour, but Samira here for Turtle. Fun one there alongside the Alistar. No Rel, of course, available. It was banned by Immortals. We're starting to see a lot more red side Rel bans. Just teams don't want to give it over. It's such a powerful first pick. And we do know that Smoothie and Destiny are both very capable on the champion. So IMT are going to take it away. And now what's Immortals' third pick here? Have to decide how they want to line up potentially the bottom lane.
This is huge confidence from CLG in their bottom lane, though. I think this is really big for drafting this kill lane for Turtle and Smoothie. Turtle had been performing really well in teamfights for CLG and had some good lane phases, but locking in Samira Alistar to keep down the Kaisa, constantly looking for these engaged combos, constantly looking for kill pressure, also speaks to the fact they should probably have Broxah routing from top towards bottom in this match. This is definitely going to be a different look for CLG and a lot of focus on their bottom lane, whereas Finn has been the one doing a lot of the work from the top side of the map previously. And Immortals are early picking the Renekton to try and cut that off. No possible, good matchups here unless Finn wants to go with the Quinn, which I find fairly risky, especially because they have AD jungler already. Graves doesn't do anything as far as extra CC for gank pressure, so honestly I think the Quinn is even out the window. You don't even have to ban it away for Immortals. Just go after his comfort picks instead.
The other problem is, like, if you're trying to pass bottom side, you can't obviously also be top side, and Quinn tends to need help given that she attracts a lot of attention to her lane. So I think you're right. I think they'll just take away the comfy stuff for Finn. He's already lost GP and Aatrox. Leona's going to be taken away from Destiny, because stopping Samira is not fun on the Samira side, so wanting to take away some of the easier access CC, and IMT, going to be taken away. So Finn going to lose yet another champion.
Yeah, I really like this from them. Early pick the Renekton. You have 2 more bans coming. You can protect even more. And CLG even banning away the Gragas, which would be one of the softer lanes into it, try and heal sustain through. So I'm curious to see what Finn has up his sleeve for this Renekton matchup. Galio going to give them cross-map pressure too to help out possible Renekton top side here for Immortals and cover Samira plays from the bottom side. I think this is really good if Insanity takes the Galio. Support Galio can be good into Samira Alistar because of the AoE taunt, locking up those engages. But I honestly like the threat of Insanity mid Galio more with the flexibility for this comp. We'll see though. It might be Insanity. He has really preferred to go with these mage carries, so it could be the support Galio and him going Orianna or one of these. Actually, he also even started the Tristana train mid, so we shall see.
Yeah, he's played Lucian as well, but it's going to be Viktor instead. So good read, Kobe. Azir, a pretty safe pick there for RJS. I believe that's his first play on this champion in the LCS, but I could be mistaken. Played a lot of Orianna and Zoe though, but doesn't want to go for that. He goes for Azir, which is kind of the default best control mage right now. But Viktor pretty good.
Yeah. And it also would have been good if the Galio had stayed mid. And that's why, they saved their flex pick here for Immortals till the last pick. Don't have to lock in mid until you see. And RJS here on the Azir. Can he carry from the backside? He has played a lot of Orianna and a lot of Zoe. And that is most of the champ pool thus far. So people have been looking for, more branch out here from RJS. And this is going to be straight front to back. They have very standard front line for themselves. Alistar, Ornn, scale up here for the Azir, to actually be able to carry through the later stages. The wild card is, does this Samira Alistar lane on bottom side get them some pressure?
That's what you want to see here. So curious to see where Broxah starts, if you are indeed correct, which I suspect you are, Kobe. You very rarely miss on especially jungle pathing, but I think Broxah will indeed be putting attention now towards that bottom side of the map. For IMT, it's just a question of which IMT is showing up today. They've got some good aggression, especially on the top side of the map, that Revenge can maybe look to play off of if Xerxe wants to visit there. Raes and Destiny have had pretty hot or cold games, but Destiny, especially in that Blitzcrank game, most memorably, has had some high moments to go along with the lows. So IMT definitely looking for a bit of consistency, but CLG looking for level 1 because Kobe, some things do not change.
Yep, CLG have found a lot of success with their level 1s, at least last week. This week, they have been highly prioritized by their opponents as far as defensive warding. Everybody coming into this week is expecting some level 1 plays from CLG. So we see much more defensive openings from all of their opponents. Raes is going to get sight of this attempted river move, so not going to be any sort of action this time around either. And Immortals will avoid the ill-fated level 1 kill for CLG. Ooh, okay, just the deep ward, not the late invade here. Broxah, though, as expected, is going to start on top side, clear towards the bottom. I'm actually still so confused, though, why CLG have decided to go for this strategy in Champ Select of kind of sacking Finn's lane, who has been the best, most consistent performer for the team, and got them their single victory that they have. The Ornn versus Renekton is, he's going to try and CS, not lose too much health, try and avoid getting dove on big waves. You try and thin the wave as much as possible. But Revenge should be able to take control of the minion wave really early on, start stacking up some rage for his Renekton, and force the pressure there towards Finn on the top side of the map. Both junglers, though, starting top side, so both of them recognizing and looking towards bottom double melee support matchup.
Yeah, notably Xerxe actually did pass over the ward you see just left of mid lane. So I do know that Xerxe, or should at least be able to guess that Xerxe is over on that side of the map. And of course the Raptor camp is just so juicy that Lillia probably wants to start there regardless. Finn getting some early damage in there. Did win the race to level 2, but now Revenge is going to be drinking from that potion and continuing to threaten here as he builds up Fury. So Finn going to have to back away.
Yeah, Revenge was kind of waiting in the brush level 1. Didn't jump on the minion wave super early, even though Finn was down in the jungle with Broxah. Clearing out that ward on blue buff and helping him out. So he was able to get up there for the surprise extra level 2 for himself. Some good trades as well using the minion damage, but there's no way that Ornn is going to be able to have control in a lane versus Renekton, even with a good early start there.
Speaking of, it is a big wave here for Turtle and Smoothie to try and get. We are expecting fireworks here in the bottom side, but of course when the wave is pushing into you, you have to do your farming first. But it is Ignite for both supports, which I think we expected. Is Aftershock for them both as well. So definitely looking like they want to scrap here as far as the kind of setup and summoners go in the 2v2.
Definitely looks to be the case. Here come the junglers. Bottom Scuttle Crab going over to Xerxe on the little bit of a quicker clear, since didn't have to clear out any ward like Broxah did, avoiding some of the extra vision. And that will give a little bit more safety to Raes and Destiny to continue trying to push up, keep this Samira under tower, where she poses a lot less threat.
All right, well, Xerxe takes the crab. That Broxah's already back. 2 long swords there. Control ward and a refill. So just going to keep moving through the jungle. Looks like doesn't want to pay any attention to the bottom side just yet, but plenty of time for CLG to get things going. Raes and Destiny do have to be happy with how things have been going. Mid lane also, just a farm back and forth. Azir has the push early on. A Smoothie trying to catch some recalling, I believe, but they're walking all the way back, and in fact, they're not even going to recall. Raes actually going to stay here and harass Smoothie, who is trying to get the wave into a favorable spot for Turtle to farm safely. Topside, though, action abounds as Xerxe and Revenge are here, but Broxah's right behind him. Revenge already eaten a lot of damage. And now Finn, with his jungler behind him, is going to keep moving forwards. Broxah's in there. Good damage there. Broxah flashes past him, and that's going to be first blood to the graves.
Oh my goodness, they go for the gank anyways. Revenge right into a bunch of minions. Finn buffers his charge so well. He's able to get the charge off, so no follow-up from Lillia. Stun goes off, but perfectly timed charge there means he avoids the damage. Revenge then takes a bunch of minion aggro in exchange. You see how big this slowly stacked wave is? 4 of those ranged minions trying to eat away at him. Finn then with the counter, immediate breath, flashes to guarantee he's going to get the auto off. even though Revenge flashes in answer, if the auto is already started and you don't break line of sight, you don't actually flash into the Fog of War, damage is still going to connect. With that brittle damage, Broxah is confident enough to go up and flash as well, finish up that kill. And imagine this, the Ornn lane with the first blood, turning it right back around already. Finn with a level lead, pushing up Revenge once again. This is so good for CLG.
And even getting that charge there, grabs a knock up and gets a bit of extra damage just by eating a tower hit, I believe. So Finn feeling good as Revenge evens up the CS, but Ornn going to be happy here and also has so much vision along this river here. So not many angles at all for Xerxe to gank in. And he's of course on the bottom side, which we know, but Broxah is also down here first. Trying to set up for Smoothie and Turtle. In goes Smoothie. Ignite is down. Samira dashes in and Broxah goes over. Smokescreen is down onto Raes, but that's a good stun onto Destiny. Unfortunately, not enough damage for CLG to get the kill, but still a great, efficient gank from Broxah.
Yeah, not much time spent winning that brush, and 3 summoner spells blown, plus significant damage to both members of the bottom lane here for Immortals. That means you can easily start up this dragon. You've got bottom lane control. Finn going for another.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
All right, well, it's fine. Everything's fine. Finn is going to keep farming up.
Yeah, it's a good dash there by Revenge to get to the other side. Make
Looks
sure
funny.
you can get on the
But it was well played by Revenge. All right,
nice
Dragon
chase off here.
Cancelled here. Interesting. Sanity also just chilling out here in the mid lane. Battling Verdant barriers in the mid lane, so it's like probably the least interaction promoted possible here, as these 2 control mages are just going to be farming for a while. It does seem like Insanity has control over the wave right now, so that's good. So RGS coming back, he'll be okay. Broxah, in the meantime, continuing to be proactive. Going to take out the Scuttle Crab here, force Xerxe off it. Finn's going to find some space to recall as a result. And Broxah now level 6, feeling good here on the Grave, despite being a bit slower on the clear than the Lillia and a bit down in farm. Been very efficient with his time so far this game.
Yeah, plan here for CLG, scaling up both of their solo laners. Azir and Ornn, really, really good team fighting later on. Broxah as well continues with the clear, not really hampering too much of his income for a lot of these early ganks that he is going for. Meanwhile, Xerxe on the level 6, though, for this Lillia. Now is when he can actually make a dent in some of these lanes. Look to bring the Swirl Seed Sleep to try and actually set themselves up. Insanity on the Viktor. It's interesting the changes to Viktor, I'd say, because it actually does snowball more if you fight around the Viktor and he gets kill credit or even just takedown credit for assists, because you don't have to spend gold anymore to get your augments and your upgrades. And if you can keep up your farming, but also get kills or assists, it actually snowballs way, way, way better than before. And as you're saying, with the Verdant barriers, both in mid lane, these are very defensive or very just stat efficient openings that have a lot of magic resist for both of them, AP and magic resist. And so it kind of does cause the onus for action in the mid lane to be on the junglers. You know, you have to bring other members to actually break that stalemate.
Yep, or just, you know, go to the bottom lane like Rox's doing again. Smoothie in there, gets the knock up there onto Kaisa. Raes dashes away with a killer instinct. And here comes Xerxe with the counter, but no sleep out. CLG again, just very efficient. They're forcing the ult out of Raes, getting good damage down, and continue to have priority over the wave. And potentially this dragon, as well as Broxah, is going to revisit as he sweeps out the vision.
Attempt number 2. This one definitely will find purchase. Raes now no summoners, no ultimate either, and the recall from Xerxe. So just keep on trying there. Playing off that Samira Alistar lane as expected, where all their crowd control is. I think that CLG have also shown just, you know, more attention to their game plan coming in. Scaling up both solo lanes, but, you know, playing a lot off this aggressive Alistar Samira. Broxah comes over, they've got the damage, they push him off the wave as well. Tower plate acquired, and Turtle even going to interrupt the recall here, disrupt Raes back, so he's gonna zone him off another minion wave.
Might get him all plates there as well, actually, as IMT do the right thing and answer on the top side of the map. 3v0 right now, just the Rift Herald, the only bit of attention, but here comes Fing with the ulti as the rest of CLG move in. They get the knock up onto Xerxe. Here comes RGS, does not get the knock back as Xerxe, I believe, flashed it. Indeed, he did. As now CLG are going to have to run, but Smoke's going down in Insanity, and CLG, a good attempt there. They at least get the summoner out of Xerxe's Lillia.
Yeah, Immortals still really happy to get that Rift Herald and get out though on the other side. Yes, Turtle is continuing to push on bottom side, really increasing the CS lead over Raes and gaining himself some tempo. But this Rift Herald in hand for Immortals is a way back into it, be able to funnel a little bit more gold into the hands of Raes, try and help him catch up.
Yeah, as we saw though, Turtle is currently on top of the gold chart, so feeling good how this early game has gone. Or as they're returning to lane, is going to try and lower that farm lead that was about 20 CS for Turtle into quite a bit less than that, as Turtle is taking a reset himself. Next Dragon not up for 3.5 minutes, but Xerxe will take the Scuttle Crab regardless because it is very valuable. And Raes even going to help him out. Does shoot it once, doesn't take it. That's a very good bot laner. That means Xerxe will now come to revisit your lane potentially, whereas if you'd taken it, you would be on the blacklist. At least that's what I get told in solo queue.
I think already the story of CLG is getting so much more interesting here with the arrival of Broxah and Finn really finding his synergy with this team. Yes, it is a dismal record, 1-6, especially without the lock-in tournament went for them, but they had to overcome so much with the late arrivals, visa issues, switching between possible rosters, even benching Pobelter here, and yet they still manage to have a lot of moments in some of these games where they do, have a clear game plan, where they do have some good plays for themselves. And now with Broxah finally arriving, I think that we will start to see this team stabilize a lot more because Turtle has been playing consistently well ever since he was on FlyQuest, came back from that benching and really looks like he's got renewed presence in these games, and he's definitely been one that has kind of never slacked off as far as the older players. So I really want to see what this team can accrue as far as a mid-season spike and try and stabilize themselves, maybe at least dig themselves out of the bottom of the standings potentially.
And I think the speed which it looks so much better is the really refreshing thing, right? Broxah, again, he arrived 3 days ago, had 1 day of scrims as far as we can tell, just doing math alone. So,
and one of which, NA solo queue was turned off because they had issues with the client. Here comes Broxah though, Pastry.
Ready to dive, 3v2. Going to force them off there, and this tower may just go down if CLG have enough damage. No Herald, of course, that is on Xerxe's trinket slot, so he's going to use that to try and counter pressure mid, as RGS is currently absent from the lane, probably because Lillia tried to visit it. Sanity going to get this wave down, charge is going to happen, so a good bit of plate money over to the Viktor. But RGS is going to sweep that out as CLG just continue to, again, work with the game plan they set out in draft, continually pressuring this bottom lane. Eventually, they'll be able to crack down that tower, if not do better by getting a kill or two, if IMT aren't careful. And to their credit, they have been pretty aware of what's happening and just kind of taking the gold losses as they come. But Turtle going to have his mythic finish soon. In fact, the shield bow is now done. And as Finn returns to top lane here, continuing to play weak side and fight off Revenge, who does have a nice lead. But again, these leads need to convert into something else for either side before this game is really going to open out. As for now, they're both just happy kind of farming back and forth and trading sides of the map.
Yeah, the thing about Renekton on 11.3, these are after the nerfs for Gore Drinker and Xerxe. So while you still do get the positive lane phase experience, the bonus that you used to get from a strong lane phase, from extra items, was so much bigger because of the power of those two items that you build right into. Now the team fight for Renekton is significantly weaker because he did rely so heavily on the broken Xerxe gauge as well as a broken Gore Drinker. And Ornn still delivers a huge amount of value, especially with Finn now approaching level 11. A little bit more work to do before he starts handing out the extra gold value, but CLG happy to wait for him, trying to play mostly off Samira for the early game as their bridge. And her shield bow is completed, so that extra safety is there. It's just up to WildTurtle to avoid getting locked up by the Galio.
Well, good little smite there for Broxah, actually. Xerxe was not in the area as that crab was getting attacked by Insanity, so just walked over and smote it. Does have Smite back up though, and CLG are going to take the second Drake with no contest, it looks like. Xerxe busy farming up, Smoothie getting that vision down and just kind of zoning them out. And again, it continues to be pretty clean here in the mid game for CLG, with slowly accruing in strength. Smoothie actually on the roam right now, so Turtle perhaps has to watch out in a 2v1, but it's just going to be a vision clearing mission by the looks of things here for Smoothie. So again, just continuing the pretty deliberate pace here, but CLG have to be happy with how the game is going. They're up in Dragons, even though the gold is even. Probably feel like they're going to be the first team to break one of these towers open, which gives them a bit of extra gold and ability to move around the map. In fact, mid lane, despite the Herald being dropped in mid, RJ's actually done a decent amount of damage to that tower as well, so not even really that point in the map to worry about as much.
Yeah, problem here for Immortals is that while they do have, you know, decent Viktor and Kaisa scaling on their side as well, they don't have an engage option. And Galio always works better when you have someone who can dive in with a longer range and quicker dive. Yes, Renekton can be on the front lines and does have Gore Drinker and kind of looks for flanks, but it's not the same as having, you know, Alistar Ornn combination, obviously. Way longer range, much quicker engage on the side of CLG, and so they should be able to get their choice of fights a lot easier in these ones if Immortals are not able to control the sides first. Rift Herald number 2 picked up by them as well, though, will definitely help in that endeavor. As you mentioned, you know, tower damage is going to become very important for them. Second Rift Herald might enable them to open up one of these side lanes. But as of yet, it has been all CLG as far as the towers are concerned. First 2 for them on bottom side. I would think that Revenge would be able to get a lot done on this top one and try and answer pretty quickly, though.
Yeah, it does have a way of pushing in with the cannon, but no one else to assist to potentially do more damage or even just drop the Herald there for Xerxe, who may be looking at mid lane instead, and indeed does drop it there. So that will take out the mid outer. That's a great bit of the map to open up for IMT. But CLG getting 2 towers there does really take the sting out of the tower gold that IMT expected to get. Getting the Herald on what has effectively been a split map for the duration of this game, it's felt like. Now CLG can actually translate power up to the top side, so it's time to go for Total to go and help out Finn.
Biggest thing for Immortals is just opening up the map, you know, so that you can have Renekton out in the sides. You can throw Lillia seeds down these long lanes to look for possible sleeps while CLG are split up. Viktor can hold pretty much infinitely with his wave clear at this point, so no problem for Insanity to just be basically another turret in mid lane, while you have your Galio possibly covering if there's any sort of crazy dive attempts, and you just push on your Renekton lane.
All right, we'll see how much damage CLG can get done in the top lane, because they were there first. Revenge going to catch the wave here in bottom lane. Not knowing where Broxah is potentially. Could have worried about getting ganked in this very long lane now, actually, because 2 towers were taken out, not 1, after Turtle converted the advantage they got from Broxah visiting so many times. Raes also still hunting for that first mythic item. Has made a stop at the Berserker Greaves, so it is a little bit delayed, but shouldn't be too far away here, as CLG don't have enough to overload this top half and really force something, and honestly don't really seem to be in any sort of rush. We're almost 20 minutes through. They've got 2 dragons, looking to get that snowball happening. We'll want to take the third very decisively, otherwise the game could elongate even more. But CLG, again, leaning on Azir, leaning on Ornn. Don't need to rush this game. He's feeling very in control.
Yeah, I mean, obviously here with the oh, Xerxe, he gets him. Oh my God, he's marked. Does he fall asleep? No, he doesn't. PastryTime. No action comes. CLG, they're just waiting 1 more minute for this dragon. As we said, they're the ones with the Ornn Alistar who can actually pull the trigger, and currently looking towards the top side.
All right, well, classic do stuff on top and then go take the dragon. Got 50 seconds basically to make this play, and IMT are answering, so Dragon not going to get attention just yet. Smoothie, of course, a very viable diver. Taunt happens. Finn, they're going to let the ulti rip, and it does hit. 1-1, the TP up to the top side, though, as Xerxe does get the spin onto Turtle. Smoothie with a big pole, but now going to be chased away. Does not have his ulti, so he's going to die to Revenge, and now Broxah falling asleep. Destiny's in there again to follow up with the taunt, and now Broxah going to have to get on out of there with the flash. For IMT, they see the play that's been set up for a couple minutes, and they do take a kill.
Comms got messed up here for CLG on that dive. Smoothie flashing in instead of calling off on the mission when RJS's teleport got interrupted. Here they're going for it on Venge.
Yeah, Turtle actually fighting here, but here's Destiny again with the taunt finds. Both actually going to knock up Turtle, and that's going to be a dead Samira as Insanity TP's in to pick up the kill. And now Finn just has to run back to the tower and burn the flash. Revenge might even look to dive him here, but he's got no help, so probably not. Instead, his proxy's the wave.
The CLG just gets so impatient with how it's going. I mean, they only had to wait 1 more minute for this dragon, and they just threw big time on top side, trying to re-engage right before RJS.
Trying to answer back here. It's 3v3 in the mid lane. Xerxe low, but not dead. And no follow-up damage. Good scoop, but there's Destiny coming in with the ulti, so it's 4v4 as we see Finn on the left side of the screen. But RJS is currently being cordoned off by Viktor, and Insanity is going to force that flash.
All right, CLG, they do have a respawn from Turtle, who would have to walk from base. Can they buy enough time? They've got basically no DPS because RJS is sitting on 400 life on the Azir, so it should be Immortals very happily getting the kills on top side of the map and transitioning down towards the dragon to put a stop to the CLG Dragon stacking. That was the key here with your team fighting setup with Ornn, Alistar trying to just retain control over dragons. You're about to hit this big break point, get number 3, start forcing soul point, but here's the interrupt on the Azir teleport I was talking about. Insanity just heads up play in range for gravity field. I think RJS didn't keep track of him. Maybe he had lost sight a long time before, but it's very easy for Viktor, a super long range on gravity field, to be able to cancel that. And then Smoothie still flashed in under the turret. So I don't think they communicated clearly or quickly enough to actually call off that play. And as we said, this is a play that they try on top side right before the dragon is spawning. So when Finn and Turtle go in for this on Revenge, can't kill him, and the teleport comes to answer, Immortals just start cheering. Everything gonna go their way. This is gonna change the entire course of this mid game, where CLG were going to rely on soul point forcing Immortals to come to them. That makes them have to worry about Alistar flanks, these super long range orange ultimates setting them up for this late game Azir, but much better situation now for Immortals.
Broxah continuing to stick with his duo lane as far as the point of pressure on the map. It's 3v2 once again, back to this tower. But IMT already making their way up there. You can see both Viktor and Xerxe and Lillia zooming up when they see the first sign of trouble, but CLG this time going to think better of the play and move back towards the middle of the map. Finn with the ulti going to look for Insanity. Does have a flash, doesn't need to use it just yet. The gravity field's down, nicely placed actually. As Xerxe with a counter sleep is onto RJS. Damage is decent from the follow-up Viktor laser, but not enough damage to get the kill. So it's just poke on poke here for IMT as they deflect CLG's attempt in mid very easily.
Yeah, they've got so much counter-engage with the threat of Galio coming in too. Anytime you get tagged by Lillia, just the threat of this sleep is what you have to disengage from. They don't have a really good means of forcing it though, so CLG able to kite away, and Turtle gets the blue buff stolen away right before his eyes. Blast cone over for Revenge.
Spins on it, does get the buff. Always feels good. Raes also going to open up the tower in top lane. So that's 2 now to equalize as IMT actually crawling ahead in gold. They're up almost 2,000 gold at this point, which isn't a whole lot, but heading in the right direction certainly after the game has been fairly even, and stopping that third dragon from happening so quickly means that IMT can now lean on their comp. And as you said, I do agree that there's not a whole lot of things they can do to force the issue, but they've certainly shown a good level of counter-engage. Perhaps Xerxe can get things going with a big old sleepy, or if CLG just keep playing into them, IMT are like, sure, we'll do that.
Well, what they're looking for is trying to push out on side lanes. You know, you're Renekton down there on bottom side, still trying to push away on Finn, and that theoretically opens you up for Kaisa killer instinct plays, you know, Galio, possible movement there from Immortals. And if CLG keep throwing out the CC early on, and that is where Immortals find their way in. CLG still pushing up, though, on the top side of the map, as Destiny just holds it here for Raes, still trying to get him to catch right back up to WildTurtle. It is going to be a lot easier for him to play the game as we move on. Insanity already level 15 on that Viktor, who has not had to drop a minion wave all game long. is going to be a big workhorse for these team fights. We've already seen the damage that the ultimate is doing from this Viktor, creating so much space for them in team fights.
And as you say, Kobe Revenge does take the outer tower down in bottom lane. So Immortals are the first to take the outer ring. They collect the gold that goes with it, and Revenge does feel like he's at a point where he can not bully the Ornn necessarily. It's pretty hard to force Ornn out to do anything, but certainly put pressure down. Again, attract people to the side lane, potentially call your jungler or your Kaisa if you do want to make that kind of play. So the setup is looking good. In fact, Insanity is feeling so confident that he's got a blank Magi's. Ready to be charged up, though. I think maybe that indicates that Immortals want to get a little scrappier around this upcoming Dragon in 35 seconds. Insanity can see the stacks before his eyes.
Yeah, and he also can see the big AoE Wamba from CLG. He does not want to get to this point. Azir pushing topside with teleport ready. So while Immortals do have first position on this Dragon, remember, they are the ones with Lillia's sleep delay that can set up these Galio ultimates. So if you engage hard into them, into the river, then you are going to be at risk. And CLG, ideally, will not have to face check here. They're just actually trying to pressure on Baron instead and draw Immortals to them.
Counter Baron was looked at there by CLG, but IMT are going to walk over. Xerxe again, just playing pretty far forward here, but not letting the ulti rip just yet. Revenge on the front side, going to get knocked around. There's the ulti out of Ornn, but the stasis is good. Gets two there on the side, but Revenge still low, needs to back away. Double sleep opportunity, but not really the targets you're after, as Smoothie does eat a lot of damage from the Viktor, but nobody falling here as a couple cooldowns are traded, as both teams are running back to the opposite sides of the map for their big monster objectives.
Yeah, Revenge soaking up a lot of damage, but he still had his Goredrinker active and a Galio ultimate to rely on, so that's why CLG don't overcommit to it, turning instead towards the Baron to try and force them in. Only two ultimates left up here. Azir for Peel and Samira for the AoE. Immortals ready to try and counter. Lillia sleep. Oh!
Yeah, Smoothie's dead, but the Baron is really the big prize here. Who's going to grab it? Everybody's in the pit. It's Chaos, and that is Graves taking it to CLG. Do manage to nab it, and now IMT actually going to take the double kill on the other side. So RJS looking to go down there as Destiny does land the taunt in follow-up. So IMT didn't get the big prize, but they'll take the team fight win.
They will also take the Dragon, too. Off-screen, Revenge stayed down there since he was low-health Renekton. That was a 4v5 for Immortals, killing off 4 members of CLG as Raes was able to snipe down Smoothie before it even started, and then ulting into the Baron pit, finishing them off. So while CLG do get one lasting Baron on Ornn, Immortals get so much more. Dragon at number 2 stacked up for them. A bunch of gold off these kills. Raes just walks over, finishes off Smoothie, and then you see the engage on the inside. Broxah still hits the clutch smite, but it's a bad situation already. Insanity is able to fall him over on the top side. That Viktor ultimate we were talking about inside the Baron pit gets full value. Lightning over everybody, and Immortals, another influx of gold, plus the lasting Dragon here stacking up for themselves. And the only Baron buff CLG have is on the Ornn, which is going to be difficult for them to actually find value with.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the best looking Baron power play right now. Minus almost 1,400 gold for CLG as IMT are up 3,000 after that play. Also Insanity, I mean, he just knew. Got 6 stacks now after that fight. Xerxe is going to go ahead and grab the Staff of Flowing Water after Zhonya's and Moonstone Renewal. So IMT in control here despite one member having the Baron. RJS are going to knock Destiny back around, but Insanity's going to turn it on to RJS, and that's not a fight Azir can win. The damage is there, and Viktor's just going to blast him to pieces as now IMT are going to re-engage here. Destiny looking for the taunt, gets one knock up there with the Justice Punch. Ornn ulti over the top, but doesn't hit anybody. Now Revenge going to dance back in, but Insanity over the wall is trying to get it done, but he's dancing between a couple rocks there from the Mountain Rift as now a sleep goes on, but IMT still needs to find the kills as Broxah is going to take down Insanity, but Total's going to die in the midst of the brawl, and now Revenge diving in onto Broxah as that is going to be Finn left for dead. Broxah is going to fall as well. The shield though, not enough as the Eep is going to miss. Broxah dancing around them, but they have enough stats to tank up the tower, and Smoothie is now the final CLG member remaining. The Baron buffs are gone. They're bleeding gold, and Destiny is going to donate a kill to his buddy Raes, as that's the ace for IMT.
Immortals just countering every move CLG make. As soon as CLG try a play, Immortals just slam them for it. Once again, Insanity stands strong as RJS tries to go in for the Azir sec, immediately annihilates him, and then it's a winning fight easily for Immortals with everybody teleporting in, even though they expend multiple flashes to eventually take down Insanity, it is another clean sweep. So yeah, RJS is able to sweep in Destiny, but it's at the cost of his own life, and that's a carry down with minimal damage even dealt to Immortals. So teleports come in immediately. You see Lillia flanking from the top side. And WildTurtle's trying to get some damage off, but it's very short-range Graves and short-range Samira, so they have a hard time even diving back to Insanity using multiple flashes to get on him. By that time, Raes is here for Immortals, and with the extra champion lead, they chase down Broxah as well. Big, big turn back. Immortals now with such a big lead after these CLG plays they've been able to punish for. They should be able to take over the entire map. This CLG vision is immediately going to get cleaned out. They're going to have a very hard time getting anything out past even secondary turrets for themselves into their own jungle. Immortals already cleaning up.
Yeah, it was the last part of that clip. Sorry, it was funny. It's just like two big support champions walking after each other, but Destiny did manage to get the taunt to finish off the bot lane ace. So well played for Immortals again, just continuing to boost that gold lead even further. We've got more to remind you now. Finish for Raes. They're going to have a shot at the third Mountain Drake here and be the first team actually to get to Soul Point, which, given how the Dragons were going for CLG in the earlier stages of the game, certainly pretty impressive stuff as Immortals have just compounded upon these teamfight victories. Revenge even level 16 now, still up against Finn as far as overall XP goes. He's going to be pressuring down there. IMT have full control of CLG's red side jungle, which means they have full control of the dragon area as well, so should be able to grab that Drake with no problems. And CLG, I mean, they've been kind of looking for it all game. They're just going to have to do it from a gold deficit as this game gets further and further. Same story, right? You have Alistar, you have Ornn, just find the angle that works. But the more that fails, just the harder the game gets. And that's kind of the spot CLG are up to now, where Immortals are the ones that can say, hey, we're the ones that can be a little more lackadaisical. They're not really being all that lazy. Raes actually going to make the play on the Turtle, who's going to spin into the little Samira wind wall. But TP going to be forced out here, and IMT will take that cooldown. They've still got the inside track on mid lane.
I mean, CLG had just had terrible setup for both of the end game team fights. The one in Baron, everybody corralled in, huge Viktor AoE. The one on bottom, they lose their Azir, the main DPS carry of the entire team comp, on an initiation play to start it all off. If you start a late game team fight with your Azir getting 100 to 0 and no damage even really sticking on any Immortals member, then yes, it's going to go terribly for you. So Immortals off of back-to-back big team fight victories here in the later stages. Huge rewards picked up after each one. They're in great position. Now they're the ones that are actually at Soul Point, and it's CLG who have to keep their vision on Baron, worrying about Immortals play.
And you can see, maybe a sign of the times, I guess, for Finn. He's got a Mikhail's, which just, again, have to make sure your carries can live. Plenty of good
team player.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but CLG, the back to this play again, just forcing on this Baron, and IMT, know what's up. They're already in the area. The damage is good, but you just can't walk into the Viktor ulti. The gravity field's down into Smoothie. The Baron is the attempt, but IMT going to go straight in there. The Baron even gets stolen to add insult to injury, and that Viktor ulti is going off in the pit as RJS scoops one back, but it's not going to be enough there as IMT looking for another Bud Light ace. RJS low, Raes low, but not dead, as that's going to complete the ace and very possibly the game, Kobe.
CLG seems so frustrated. Force another Baron. Immortals are like, hooray, we're in! Galio ultimate arrives. Viktor crushing. And even Raes gets to live off the back of that. Nice stopwatch from him. Big value, and Immortals are going to improve to 3 and 5.
Yeah, 5 seconds until Smoothie is up, and I don't think he can stop this 3v1. The wave is still big. The Baron cannon is there, and more than enough damage to rip down at least these Nexus towers. So Smoothie, can you defend this Nexus? It is very unlikely, but IMT are going to make it happen here. Smoothie does get the knockback there, and IMT, they know they can get the kill as well. The boot, maybe not recommended, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. Insanity blows up Smoothie. Turtle's going to get crushed for one final time as IMT will take down CLG.
Really good punishes by Immortals. Late game fight after late game fight, that's what it matters. Immortals able to get victory here over CLG. Definitely a big one, especially with how the early game went. You know, you get a little bit worried when Renekton dies first blood to the turnaround gank from Ornn, but they flipped it right back around. Insanity just power farming on that Viktor, became a beast later on, and Immortals with the team play.
Yeah, interesting game, like really slow for the first, 20 minutes almost of that one, but Immortals just had a plan, stuck to it, and actually looking pretty good there. A CLG, they go from that game yesterday versus Cloud9 to just stumbling once again into mid-game. So a head-scratcher in some cases, but Kobe, we are going to be stepping away because on the other side, we're going to hear from Raes in the Verizon post-game interview. Stay here.